Yeah, I'm in a ghost, so I gotta call it. I'm in the shit, so nigga just talk. She in the building, that's all the problem.
Yes, so y'all, it's gonna be a dynamic conversation, and I'm excited because it's just going, yes, intellectual
20 seconds.
and we having this jazz here with her body butters and oils and and they don't even bring no samples.
9, 8, 5,
Yeah,
4.
Yes, and we are back. We're having a good time. You are listening to the Gringo Lounge on Texas101jams.com. Emerald Memphis.
yes, I'm ready.
You got a good number tonight, though.
Yes, I
I
know.
know I can't wait to let it out because it's one of those announcements that when people hear it, everybody, oh, and as time passed, the message keep going out, and then the people start.
Listen, it's an announcement. That's all we responsible for. Is the announcement. That's all I can do.
Already.
After that, hey,
Yeah.
the announcement's been
Yeah.
made.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
man, it's been a great week in the cannabis industry. We've been having some very, very, very interesting activity when it comes to celebrities getting involved, and also on the regulation side, we saw some victories. So, first thing I want to do before we get into talking to the amazing brother Said, I want to touch on one of the biggest news items that came out today. Jay-Z joins Calvi as chief brand strategist.
Notice those words.
Exactly.
Chief brand strategist. Chief brand strategist.
Now, what
That's-
we were discussing before we came from the break is, I was telling them, like, I'm not a big Jay-Z fan, but when it comes to business, that was the best. Not one of them. That was the best
Yep.
move he can make business-wise. And what, from me being an economist, I look at it from an economist perspective when it comes to business decisions. If you notice, chief brand strategist.
So, okay, let's talk about strategy.
Okay.
No, let's talk
Well-
about brand.
Okay, exactly.
Okay, let's talk about
let's talk
brand.
about brand. Usually, people say, "Oh, I'm a brand ambassador."
No.
No.
You can be a brand ambassador.
You can be a brand ambassador. I'm a
But if
brand
you're a
ambassador.
brand strategist.
Yeah.
There you go. Now
That's different.
you're talking.
That's what I was
Now
going
you're
to
talking
say.
power
That's
move.
different.
Now you're talking
Yeah,
power
that's a
move.
power move. Because when you're talking about a brand strategist, so I'm just going. Can I read? I'm
Go
reading.
ahead, let's get
because
into
when
it.
you look at what Jay-Z did from a power perspective, and I say power because what he did was, even though Khalifa is based out of California, Jay-Z is an international brand. So now this company is international. The brand can go anywhere. The company is in California. You understand? So when you look at strategy, the company knew what they were doing. He seen potential in the company. Now, a lot of people have controversy because of his staff. There was one person of color on the staff, and, a lot of people felt that with Jay-Z being in his position, he probably could have handled things differently, maybe even started his own business.
Right.
But when you look at doing a move like that, where it can employ hundreds
Right.
and thousands of people,
Right.
just
that's a good point that you bring up. That's one of the things I really love about being in the cannabis industry, because it's an emerging industry,
Right.
and there's room for everyone.
right.
There's room for everyone.
Right.
And one one thing I want to point out is it's okay to have 20 plus celebrities on your brand,
Right.
but if you don't have a
Strategy, right?
If you don't have a
incorporate
strategy-
and bring in your person that you bring them into the table.
Right.
So, and that's the thing about it. We can put you're an ambassador. We can put your name on something and you can ambassador all day. But when you're a strategist, that means you have a seat at the table when it
Right,
comes
comes
to
the decision making.
the decisions
Exactly.
that are being made. And that's what people have to understand. When you look at mindset and billionaire and millionaire mindsets, they look at everything from a seed on
Right.
up. They
Seed
look at
to
everything
sale.
from a seed
Right,
to
seed
sale.
to
They don't
sale.
look at everything in the middle. They look at how they can monopolize it. So just look out.
Yeah,
Look out.
Right.
Because if you look at everything that so far Jay-Z has been involved in, not even just because he's a rapper, he's learned how to do the seed to sell in every single business venture that he does, and now he's then turned around and put that in his wife's business. You understand?
Yeah.
So he's not just doing it for himself, he's doing it for her too. So when you look at how he is able to get into this market and really shift some things for people of color, come on now.
Right, right.
I mean, I think it was,
Yeah, I mean, it was very,
especially from a global perspective.
it was very,
From a global
Yeah.
perspective.
we having so much fun. Y'all need to be in the house to see what's going on.
My husband just got some new. Listen, y'all, I surprised the men in the audience tonight, and I brought it because we always get stuff for the ladies. Like we always get like the lovely sister here tonight. She got these lotions and potions. We get all the good stuff, but the men don't get nothing. They don't. Like we just leave them out. So I surprised the guys in the studio tonight, and I had a custom bracelet. He made, these are some, look, my husband over there keep flashing his bracelets. And I had him come in because I want to start showcasing businesses that are
Right.
doing awesome things. So we're going to have him come on later and show, because I got some stones on tonight too. But for the men, because I love when men wear stones and they, but we got off topic, so we don't talk about that.
No, it's all
But
good.
anyway, yes.
But before let's just synthesize this and pull it in so we can introduce and let brother say it. I've been like, what we have to do is start paying attention to the timing of everything.
Yep.
Like right now, you have 10 states
Mhm.
in the District of Columbia that have legalized cannabis, and then you have hemp is federally legalized. Now, for people in Texas, what Green Life Consulting LLC is trying to get you all to understand is that Texas is going to be the California of hemp.
Yep.
We will be what California is for cannabis sativa. We will be that for hemp.
Yeah. Yep.
So what you all need to do is go to www.greenlife-consulting.com and sign up for a free 30-minute business consultation. It's free.
It's free. That's free.
because what I can tell you is since 2015 I've been doing business advising in cannabis insurance, and I started out in Colorado. And what I always tell people is over the time frame that from when I first started going till I slowed down going, I saw businesses doors shut left and right. Because what happens is you have a cycle when there's a new product, you have an innovation cycle. Okay? And a lot of times the laggers, when they get involved in it, the market has shifted.
Right. It's
The market has shifted. So what we're trying to get Texas people to understand is we need to close down the market here before the other states start sending their big dollars into Texas. So what we want to do is get as many people interested in really seriously starting a cannabis business. We want to get you on the right track. Because what we do is we take a sustainable risk management approach. And nobody is doing that.
Nope.
We had a conversation with some people from Missouri, and I talked to the Department of Agriculture in Missouri today, and there's nobody really doing what we're doing. We're taking risk management approach, which basically means before you open your doors,
We're helping you.
you will be strapped.
Yep.
Because what people don't understand is the regulatory agencies, because we write insurance, so insurance is a very highly regulated industry. What happens is they send mystery shoppers around. Like a lot of these CBD stores and smoke shops have CBD, but they have CBD, but the cleanliness of the CBD is where
the certificate of
certificate of analysis.
analysis.
So what we're seeing in the industry is I don't want to I guess, you know what I'm saying, the parasites is the term. The parasites are leaking into the industry. You have people coming in with these fake products.
Right. And that's why I tell people, if you cannot trust your source, do not purchase product. That is the reason why I took my time before I even started investing into product.
Right.
Because I wanted to make sure that what I stood behind was good quality
Good quality
product.
Right.
Period. Like I'm not and so when you look at places that are now selling CBD, and you don't even you wouldn't even walk in there normally because it's
Right.
we don't want to talk about the type of establishment because we're not here to
Right. Bash anybody, but
but we want
right.
people to make an educated choice when it comes to the products
Right.
that you're utilizing, where you're getting them from,
Right.
and making sure that you're using them according to what your body needs.
Needs,
Just
exactly.
because it says take 2 pills, that doesn't mean that that's the amount
Right.
that your body
Right.
needs. So that's where the education comes
Right.
in, because otherwise you're not even touching the symptoms if
Right.
you're not taking it according to the dosage that you need.
And that's why we teach microdosing, we teach the entourage effect, because we want people to understand that as this industry merges and matures, we want people to understand that we're trying to teach you how to live a sustainable cannabis-based life. Because this plant can and will affect every aspect of your life. And if you're looking at it from an economic perspective, it is the last economic frontier. It's the last economic frontier, and I can say that because
Besides technology.
well,
'Cause
no,
even- but
technology
that
is
gonna
here.
be it's
Yeah,
here,
it's
right?
here.
But I'm saying in terms of AI and those type of things,
Right.
because that's where that's going.
Right. Well,
Right.
you're right. Well, the reason I say it's the last frontier is because what's going to happen is you're going to see 2 time periods colliding.
Mhm.
We're in the information age, but what's going to happen is that the good book says it wasn't the beginning, so shall it be in the end. What's about to happen, you all? You got to listen to this because we have the evidence. We're about to see another agricultural revolution, but it will be fueled by technology
Yep.
because hemp can be used for any damn thing.
Right.
Yes, it can.
Okay, so Texas. Oh look, we got Frida Weed Texas in the house. Frida Weed Texas. She'll be on later. But seriously, you all, when your boy Noob 16 talking to you, I'm talking to you from a perspective of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Okay, I'm not here. I don't care if you don't like me. People that know me, they'll tell you. I don't care. I'm here to do what I was sent here to do, and that's to lead and educate the people on how to live a right life. And the way we're going to do it is we're going to take this cannabis plant as tabula rosa. And if you know what that means blank slate. This is our opportunity to level the playing ground.
So what's the problem?
The problem is people saying they're ready, but they're not acting on it.
But we're gonna get them ready though.
We're going to get them
'Cause we
ready
got
for
a
that
big
big
announcement.
announcement.
Anyway.
Yeah, anyway, so let's go ahead and let's do what brother said, because I know he's ready. I know brother said is ready.
Hey, that's the perfect introduction right there. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Hey, ready.
So
got a
I'm
big
gonna
introduction.
introduce this brother because
Man, y'all better
first
get ready
off,
for this.
so me and Jerome, when we started, we were advertising for our upcoming event, and we had the opportunity of going onto this brother's show, and literally for like 25 minutes, everybody in the studio was like, no, he just went in for 25 minutes straight, and it was so like it was so thought provoking
Yeah.
because for me, I know when I got to a place personally where I felt stagnant, right? And so for me, I was like, okay, what's my purpose?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, that's what everybody wants to know. What am I here
Here
for?
for,
And
yeah,
what is it that I'm
yeah.
supposed to be
What am I
doing so
supposed to
I
do?
can get about
Yeah.
that business?
Right.
Yeah.
That's what really just started me on my quest. So for me, I wanted to know who God was more.
Right.
I wanted to know that invisible force, that power, that sustaining. You know what I'm
Energy.
saying?
Yeah.
That I want. So I started there, but then I started doing a lot of classes on prosperity and abundance and
Right.
wealth. Getting
Right.
into that. And one of the classes that I'm doing now is a prosperity class, and this is our book that we're reading. It's called Working with the Law.
Working with the law.
Listen, this book covers extensively the universal laws. And one of the laws that, since we're going to be talking about the conscious mindset tonight, is the law of thinking.
Yeah.
So now, if any of you are out there that are familiar with the universal laws, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the law of thinking.
Okay. let's hear
Man
it.
is a progressive being, a creature of constant growth, before whom lies an illimitable ocean of progress to be navigated and conquered only by development and culture of his inherent powers. The progress of the individual is largely determined by his ruling mental state. Listen, because the mind is the basic factor in governing power in the entire life of man, attention should be given to the predominant mental state. For it will regulate the action and direction of all one's forces, facilities, and powers, the sum total of which will inevitably determine many particular experiences and personal fate. Now, I'm going to tell y'all why I read that.
Oh.
Because as a man thinketh, so is he. So if we cannot figure out how we cannot progress forward, what is our thinking?
Exactly.
So I brought in somebody to help us figure all that out.
That's powerful.
I brought in
That's
Brother
powerful.
Sid
That's powerful.
Keller
That's
of the
powerful.
Conscious
That's
Mindset.
powerful.
Come on, Brother Sid.
You know, it's a
Get
privilege,
in there.
pleasure, and honor to be with you all, and it's just so humbling to be around this powerful spirit that each entity in this room possesses, and I'm just so blessed and honored to be here because I know that this is not by accident, it's by design, right? And that design is intelligent and so profound and prolific and amazing, and I just want everybody to take a look at your fingertips, and you can see the algorithms on your fingertips, and that lets you know that you were designed perfectly, uniquely, and to be in this space and time to do something great. So if you ever lose faith, you can just look at your fingertips and say, right at your fingertips is greatness. It's uniqueness.
Because nobody else.
Nobody else.
Your dude.
Nobody else.
Y'all wasn't ready for this.
No one else ever lived that can ever have what your hands possess.
Dude.
What you're able to touch and bless. What you're
Yes.
able to caress. So when we understand this, it's so much understanding that comes upon us, so much knowledge and wisdom that we're able to create. And we know, hey, the fingertips not even the first thing that we understand and know and grow to be.
Right.
So we know our mind is more profound and even more astounding and stellar. So as we, begin to use our mind in a way in which we don't think about the problems and the struggles and the obstacles. No, we see
Yes.
the opportunities. We see the blessings. We see the
Yep.
lessons. We get in tapping in touch with the essence, man. So when I see many of us struggling with things, when I see many of us inundated with the 87% negative thoughts out of the 60 or 70,000 thoughts that we have each and every day, and 95% of those thoughts that we had yesterday, we have today. So tomorrow we need to understand we got to get in the rhythm of life.
Right.
Right? You know what I'm saying? We got to get in that rhythm and understand that all we have to do is get in tune and tap. And it's so beautiful that I'm looking right here and I see hemp because even Thomas Jefferson, who manifested the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution along with James Madison, and I got a great quote that he said and spoke, but Thomas Jefferson said, hemp is not only a great financial entity, but it's a spiritual and mental entity that will create wellness and health in our country.
Exactly.
And James Madison said it helped him see and visualize the Declaration of Independence.
Go ahead,
And we
say it.
consider these documents to be some of the greatest documents human beings have ever assembled for freedom.
And
Right?
the flag
Right.
was made out of hemp fabric.
Boom. You understand? And we know, and I'm not glorifying them in their entirety.
Right,
We know
right.
that they're human beings and they had struggles and they had things that we definitely don't want to exemplify and honor. But what we do know is that this entity called hemp, right? And we can go as far as say cannabis too, right? Because it's right in Exodus, when they were using the anointing oil. You know what I'm saying? The cinnamon. And they were doing that. Them brothers were putting it down and they were anointing their flesh and their spirit with that.
Yes.
And then the Messiah came as the anointed one.
Yep.
Right? So when we look at these things, we see, man, that the Creator created all creations, right? To be powerful and profound. And it gave us the mind and the spirit to be able to use something that was divine in its design. And we have to tap back into it, just like we have to tap back into the supreme mind we all possess.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So ultimately, in simple terms, because some people say, oh man, you talking that pie in the sky. But it's no lie, it's no deny. When you were 4 or 5, all you talked about was your dreams.
Yes.
All you talked about was
We gonna talk about
the
that.
things that you imagined because you were an Imagineer.
Yes.
And you weren't filled with all those fears. You weren't worried about the bill that had to be paid.
Nope.
No, you knew that it was going to be done.
Yep.
And you were going to do it. And you were focused on creating and manifesting things that made you feel at peace.
Right.
Made you feel joy. What was your favorite thing to do was to what? play. Right?
Yep.
And you didn't need no video game.
Nope.
Now kids, they watch other kids play toys
Yes.
on the internet.
On the internet.
Right, that's how
You wanna make
disconnected
me
we
play
become.
video
You know what
I
I'm
do
saying?
understand.
But my thing is when we tap into the human Wi-Fi,
Wow.
right? We don't have to go crazy over AT&T and Uverse and all these other companies. But
Come
when
on,
we tap
brother,
into
say
that
it.
human
That
Wi-Fi,
human one.
then we become alive in a whole nother way, in a whole nother capacity. And then the obstacles and the challenges that we must face to grow, we begin to understand there's a higher consciousness and we begin to know a better way to operate.
So how does someone tap into the conscious mindset? Like
That is
how
a
does
beautiful
someone,
question.
because I know for me, my mom sent me a video by a guy named Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Yes, familiar.
And it was called Rewire Your Brain.
Right.
And I listened to it and I was like, is that what all it took? Like literally stopping those thoughts. And once you recognize that those are those thoughts, then you then reintroduce a predominant thought.
Right.
But, you know, that's very true because as I told Brother said earlier, he's given me the opportunity to introduce a concept that I've been developing since I guess about 2012. And the transition from where a person is to a conscious mindset is very simple.
It's very simple.
Very simple.
And that's the thing about it. Like once I heard
Very
him
simple.
talk about it and then I was like, wait a minute, that's all it took? Literally stopping and interrupting the thought process.
Right.
You literally have to interrupt the thought process.
Right.
So for me, I said, okay, what stops that? Because we're on autopilot. Most of us get up every day and I can literally get up in the middle of the night, go to the bathroom, my eyes closed, and I hit or stump my toe, get back in the bed, like ain't nothing happened.
Yeah.
Right? Because our minds are so programmed that we can literally go throughout our day and nothing changes. So I started a technique with just brushing my teeth with the opposite hand.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Try that.
Absolutely.
It'll wake you up because when you poke yourself in the jaw a couple times, so it's gonna stop whatever that thought process is. Because a lot of times for us in the morning, the first thing we do is we dread our day because we start thinking about all the 1,500,000 thoughts that we got to do and accomplish that we never take time to get us into that conscious mind state. So how does a person get into a conscious mind state?
Did you want to say something?
Well, the only thing I was gonna say is as you segue into answering that question, first let's define conscious mindset.
Okay.
What is a conscious mindset?
Powerful, man. That's great. You know, we know conscious as defined as being awake, right?
Right.
Aware. When you look at the interesting etymology of the word conscious, we know con, to come together, right? Or communicate is another word that has a similar synonym. But one of the things that we found is in that coming together, there's also an awareness that develops in which the next part of that word, the next symbol, syllables of that word is the conscience, or it comes from science, which means to know,
To know, yep.
right? So it's an ever-evolving process. And that's one of the things people have to understand. Neely Fuller Jr., who wrote a great book, and I think you guys need to check it out, the Codification, and worked with Dr. Welsing. He always answers the phone. He says, I'm still learning. Now, this man's almost 100 years old or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's always talking about still learning because that's the essence of consciousness. It is to continue to keep learning, right? And to keep your mind open and ever evolving, just like this plant that we're talking about, hemp. We don't even know what hemp is capable of doing.
Exactly.
People got to stop acting like hemp is in a box.
No.
It's limitless.
This plant
it's
has
infinite.
survived for over 2,009.
10,000.
10,000. I mean, we can
Easy.
survive.
Because even, I mean, if we look at the story of creation from even a scientific, biblical, whatever perspective you want to look at it, plants were here before humans.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Plants were here before
The
humans.
herb, you know what I'm
So-
saying?
Because God had to
So-
put somebody out here to work the land.
Right,
That's
absolutely.
what we got created.
Absolutely. So as we begin to expand in our conscious mindset, and I know there's a lot of people afraid to even use that word now because it's been denigrated. You know, it's been patronized.
Right.
It's so much
Conscious.
sarcasm. But when we understand that everything has a form of consciousness, these
Right.
plants,
Right.
if you talk to your
Yes.
plants, those
They
of us
will-
who've grown
they live.
everything,
Right.
anything, you know that your plants are conscious of your voice.
Yes.
Right.
They're
My
conscious
mother
of the
knows.
water, of the
Yes.
soil that you
Right.
put in.
They sure
So
do.
that is the basis and essence of life.
Mhm.
But what happens is, and what you mentioned, what you talked about when you were walking to the bathroom, is you're living a zombie lifestyle.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I said, people used to ask me, do I watch Walking Dead? I'm like, no, I look outside, I see
You
the
can see
Walking
Walking
Dead.
Dead.
I
Like,
don't need to
yeah,
watch it on
right.
TV.
The
I
body
see
of
it.
Dragon.
Because anytime you're
Walking
talking
Dead.
about FUD, and I call it FUD, fear and then uncertainty and doubt, that's a zombie-like behavior.
Yep.
Because it doesn't move you forward. It doesn't help you to grow. It doesn't help you evolve.
Right.
Right.
That's why people need to reach out to Green Life. Because Green Life is not just about hemp. It's not just about cannabis. It's
Exactly.
about us beginning to evolve.
Evolve.
And
Exactly.
become more conscientious and conscious
Yep.
of knowing who we are.
And
And
You
what
talk-
we have access
That's
to.
right. You talked about purpose. You know, when we just talk about cannabis from the standpoint of smoking, and that was done by design.
Yep.
You know, when we look at Mad Reefer and all the films and all of the negativity that DEA and all the other alphabet boys did, they wanted to restrict us.
Yep.
Exactly.
They wanted to restrict our understanding of hemp and cannabis, because by using cannabis and using hemp, there are so many different ways we can use it,
Yes.
just like we can use our mind.
Right. And see, and what one thing that you said that I can really appreciate is the evolution of the mind is limitless, and I think that's what this is all about, is taking this plant and using it as a tool to show us the unlimited, the limitless mind we have.
That's right.
Because when we look at cannabis sativa, okay, most people know THC and CBD. There's so many other cannabinoids.
That's right.
And there's
That's
so
right.
many genetics that haven't even been discovered.
That's right.
Right.
That's
So-
right.
So we need to get on this Green Life consultantship.
Yeah.
I'm ready for our
Yeah.
Announcement. Well, let's go to a brief
I just want to know that one word again.
etymology.
Bud.
Bud.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We
Yeah.
got KOB in the house, and, of course, and he want brother said to review Bud. Okay. So say it before we go to the commercial break.
Man.
We gonna give you the honor to tell us what FUD is, and you close us out to go to the
Okay,
break.
well, I appreciate that, good brother, and thank you for fear, uncertainty, and doubt. It's at the core of what's stopping us from achieving the greatness that we have in store. Because when you sit back and think about it, all of the fears that we have, they don't enable us to achieve. They disable us and get us to disbelieve.
Right.
And then uncertainty, fear of the unknown. But the thing that we all know is the only thing that won't change is change.
Yep.
Right?
Change.
And then that doubt, where we begin to listen to all of those naysayers, to all of those dream killers that get us to believe that all we're worth is what we're paid per hour.
Yep.
Or the only
Right.
thing we can do is watch on TV someone else live reality. No, reality is now. We're in it. It's real.
Right.
We're here.
Right
So
here.
when we break out of FUD through love and through understanding, then we begin to see not only are our dreams attainable, but we need to be working 86,400 seconds, 1,440 minutes to bring them into manifestation.
Exactly.
So, you know, when we break out of FUD, then we're able to tap into a greater and a higher sense of love.
And on that
Are
note,
you the brother of Malcolm X?
and on that note,
Just
we're
a
gonna
humble
go to
servant.
the
That's
break.
it. That's it. I'm just a humble servant, baby.
Okay.
That's it.
Yes, and we're gonna go out to a commercial. That was, you know what? We're coming right back. We're gonna let you breathe for a minute.
I know he can go. He gotta get a chance to breathe.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is when we come forward, we'll if you know that's the background music's gonna fade it out.
Oh,
We can talk about that. So when we come forward, we'll I'll ask you a couple more questions. You in a rush? Because what I would say is we'll like ask a couple of questions. And then we'll segue into the conversation. Because part of consciousness is what you do. Absolutely. Everybody should.
And it's a bunch of people making CBD oil into skincare, so oil, all kinds of stuff. So, and it's actually a lady that I'm working with now, that I'm doing private label with. She is interested in having bars and soap makes skincare, but the main ingredient that she wants is CBD oil.
Right.
And so that's
You can sign up for a 30-minute consultation.
Yes, you do. So we can give you a good connection resource to some good premium quality CBD.
Well, I know they've been running
By
on university campus.
Yeah, University of
That's
Mississippi.
what that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. They've been doing it for some years now.
They have since '68, man. You know, so you sit back and say we monopolize the market, and now when we legalize it, we got the premium, and that's cold.
Yeah. It's a lot of when I first got into the store, I started smoking.
Did y'all see?
I did research. I was like, growing up, I was like,
Do you love me? I tell her only
Right.
partly. Only love my bed. I'm alone.
research. And what really tuned me into was 500 economists did a research and reported to the Senate, letting them know that in one day, $10 million would be pumped into the economy. And that was a very conservative amount. And so, and so I was like, I'm gonna change my degree to economics. This is the future.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty much what it is. So I got involved in the things I did, banking and finance, education, technology. And it's like, man, it's so clear now. It makes sense because we've been using Earth from 2000 BC from when
Yeah.
to sustain ourselves. And they know that. So that's why they took that.
It's a lot of bad things that they wishing and wishing and wishing
Off of
and
necessity.
wishing and
Utilize it as a tool. A utility to create
Absolutely.
So we got to so
45 seconds.
my wife had found an article. She was supposed to send it to me so we could talk about it. A seed company sold some black farmers some dummy seeds.
Yeah, that's what
You
they're
saw
doing.
about it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and that's one of the things too, because we're gonna talk about that when we.
Well, I want her to I want the article so we can.
Yeah,
25
because that's
seconds.
another thing why it's important to make sure you're looking at,
We need reputable people in the business.
Right.
You know
That's
what
what
I'm saying?
that's the thing. That's what we trying to do. Like it's an easy crossover, but you gotta do
5, 4, 3, 2.
And we're back. This is Tamara, your Emerald Empress. And we're back. We're back, y'all. We're back.
Yeah, we having a great conversation, great time in the lobby. We at the Green Gold Lounge.
We got the whole lobby
Everybody
full
jamming.
today, y'all. We have y'all feel
Yeah,
blessed
right.
today.
A lot of people.
We do.
But you
That
know,
support. That is dope.
we limited on time. We only have
Yes.
2 hours.
Yes.
We gonna have to have Brother Stay come back. We gonna give him a whole 2
sure.
hours. We gonna let him be expensive guest. We gonna just sit and let him run the Green Gold Lounge. We gonna let him run the Green Gold
We
Lounge.
definitely gonna tell people how to get in touch with you.
Yeah, we gonna. Why don't you go ahead and let everybody know about your show,
Absolutely,
how to contact
absolutely.
you.
And I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And this is beautiful. And I want to continue to, impel and beseech the people to reach out to Green Life and do some more consulting. I definitely want to do some more events with you all and have you guys come back on the show, because what we have to understand is the time is now.
Yep.
And we have to take advantage of, as the good brother said, this is the last frontier.
Right.
They project in California alone that in the next 15 years, $1 trillion will pass the hands of those that are growing and distributing cannabis. And what we have to understand is just like what's happening in California will happen in Texas, to where you'll have corporations. Thank you. Sister C, I'm sweating because I'm passionate and I'm fired up because I know our people need to take advantage of this, because what we're seeing is that the corporations and these marijuana project and all of these big firms with all these lobbyists are pushing out the natural growers who are using the sunlight, who are using the organics, who are using the natural nature to grow natural things from the earth, and they're growing it in these factories that are assuming and consuming so much energy to the level of what the Hoover Dam is producing. Okay, and then but I know that's for another time. But I did want to say this, and I think it's apropos and important. Right in Colorado, as they're celebrating the opportunity to use recreational marijuana, we have seen a 29% increase in Hispanic males being arrested for marijuana.
Yep.
We have seen a 58% increase of African American young men be arrested for marijuana. And we've only seen an 8% increase in Caucasians. So what we have to understand is that these low income areas are where these areas, that's where they're targeting, and that's where the distribution of the marijuana is. So what we have to do is make sure that our people are protected and make sure our people are informed. And that's why you need to listen to The Conscious Mindset every Sunday night on 90.1 KPFT or www.kpft.org, 9 to 11 p.m. And we'll definitely have Green Life Consulting back on, and I definitely want you to reach out to them, and you can email me at sedtruth@yahoo. That's Truth to Yahoo.
That's what's up. But brother said we're gonna ask you a couple more questions.
Yeah, I'm here.
And we're gonna bring in the lovely Jasmine.
Yeah, Miss Jasmine, she over here. She's excited too.
So brother said, when I started my country journey, I was young. I was like 12, 13. And over the past 20, 30 years, I've seen a lot of people come and go.
Right.
And the one thing that what I've been able to identify is what always get people going is when they run into that brick wall of, okay, I got this far.
Right.
Family saying I'm tripping.
Right.
My friends dissing themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
let's talk about it.
How, and then I'm gonna introduce my concept. How does a person deal with the apprehension of increasing their awareness and consciousness?
That is a great question.
That fear factor.
Yes,
Right.
yes. And the thing about it is this. We've all faced it in whatever capacity or whatever level we've been at or been in.
Right.
Doing business, you're going to face it. You're going to have naysayers. You're going to have people who you thought were going to be down for you, but they turned around on you. You know what I'm saying? The OJ said a song called The Backstabbers, right? But the thing about it is this is that you mentioned something that was so profound. Working with the law. And we know that in the law of attraction, like attracts like.
Like attracts like.
Right? So when you're in that fog or you're in that situation where you're finding yourself, you're going to attract people who gravitate to that.
Right.
Who gravitate to the artificial, who gravitate to whatever it is that you're projecting. When you begin to project something else, now those individuals, just like the caterpillar that goes through the pupa to begin to change into that butterfly to fly, now you have to attract and gravitate to other energy that can take you along that journey. And sometimes that's difficult, but we got to let go to grow. Right? That seed has to die. Right? To begin to germinate. So I don't want people to feel bad and say, oh, I got to let grandma go. No, you got to let grandma be.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then you be.
And be is present tense.
And by you being, then that being is able, because that's what we are. We human beings. We can't control what anyone else does, but we can control what we be, how we do, what we think, what we say. So the food that goes in your belly don't fill me up. So what I have to get people to understand, and what we all
and
really
what goes
need
in
to,
your
right?
brain
That's right. That's right. I
Yeah.
can't control that. Only thing I can control is what I do, what I say, how I operate. So the apprehension is going to be what the apprehension is because people are afraid of the truth.
That's right.
They're afraid to know.
You are
Right? But what we have to do, right? But what we have to do is get certified in what we know.
Right.
Get
Right.
affirmed and fermented in what we know, what we want. Right? And
Exactly.
begin to focus on our purpose.
Yes.
And not take it personal.
And you know what? And that's one of the things because like since we listen.
take a breath. Take a breath.
He said, listen, and then she stopped.
Bring it together.
Because, and I say this because we have to, a lot of us allow our own thinking to stop something that doesn't even exist.
You're right.
And if you look at the concept that everything is created twice, and I say that because it's first in the mind
That's
and
right.
then it
That's
comes
right.
into reality.
That's right.
When you have the opportunity, and it's sitting there because some of us every day get up and go to our jobs and complain about how much we hate them, but yet we know what we can do to fix the problem.
Yeah.
That's right. That's
But
right.
yet, instead of us fixing the problem, we complain because that's comfortable.
Right.
It's easier to do than actually
It's
trying
easier
Right.
to do than it is to
Right.
fix. And so a lot of us are living stagnant, like no movement, no progression,
No, nothing.
nothing coming in besides this. Every day I make a point to read something.
Yeah.
Every day, like I make a point, because if I'm gonna let this consume everything that I think.
What's the
and
this?
do-
Because the people.
Oh, I'm sorry, cell phones. I'm sorry, cell phones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cell phones, because a book will never, let me tell you something. My mom always told me, if you want people to not know something, put it in a book.
Book.
Yeah.
They ain't gonna know. They ain't gonna
Yeah.
know about it.
That's true.
Put it in a book.
Yeah.
Because we will not do it. And I'm big on education. I'm big on trainings. I'm big on that, because we have to understand that in order for us to get out of those ruts, we have to educate ourselves.
Right.
We have to give
That's right.
ourselves
That's
something to
right.
feed off of.
That's right.
Because otherwise, those thoughts is what your mind is feeding off of.
Yeah.
And
Right.
guess what it
That's right.
gets every day? The same old negative, grumpy old, I'm going to work, and then
And
your
I
coworkers
hate
can't
this
stand
place,
you.
and I don't want
And
to be
Right.
exactly,
here.
and then
Right.
it spreads like a dang on virus.
That's what it is.
And you,
That's
you
what
made
it
a
is.
good point about self-education. The Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey said that that the best knowledge is self-knowledge. What the things that go on in the green go on.
Hey, it's not in power right here.
The things that go on at the green gold lounge. Man, oh, Okay, we're having too much fun. So brother said, man, you what you did is you really did something for me in terms of validation.
Wow.
I've been working on this self-awareness concept
Yes, sir.
since, like I said, about 2012, and it's called the 9 levels of consciousness. It's in the process of being patented and copywritten. What I did is
That's real.
when I did what I call boot camp or brain bleed is my wife. I'm doing one now.
Right now, because I don't play.
So what I'm gonna do is list the levels of consciousness,
Wow,
the
that's
9 levels of
powerful.
consciousness,
That's powerful.
and you're gonna see why I said what I said about the validation. The first level is self-reflection, and at that level, I've been able to test this. That's how I'm able to talk about it. At that level, we all experience the same thing. I call them the 6 wounds of the flesh. We have to learn to deal with fear, hate, greed, lust, anger, and ignorance. And once you work through those cycles, then you move to the next level, which is truth. Truth, it's only one truth.
There's only one.
People say my truth, your truth. That's
Either
our
it is or it
perspectives.
isn't.
That's our perspectives of the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And once we can accept the truth, we move into that apprehension space, because now we know right from wrong and we have a greater understanding, but then mama didn't say. And that's that apprehension I was talking about. So once we work through apprehension, we get to notions. That's when we start formulating our own thoughts about what we know to be the truth. But then something happens. We have to go through this next step, which is called self-destruction. And that's that part of consciousness that a lot of people turn away from. That's that separation part. When you have to separate from the things you used to do. That's the self-destruction. It's not a literal go jump off a bridge and crash. It's taking your mind and separating it from the pollution and the negativity. And once you're able to do that, you move to the next level, which is perception. Now you have a new perspective on life, because you've went through apprehension, you found the truth, you created your notions, and now you're in a space where you can say what I think and my philosophy based on my lived experiences. And when you're able to do that, then we move to the next level, which is movement of force. And that's when you start seeing the universe working in your favor. That's when you start moving into, a lot of people into the secret. That's when you're able to move the force that you've created through self-awareness, that's when you start seeing the results of the apprehension and the self-destruction. And then you move into the next level, and I think the Emerald Empress can appreciate this one. The 8th level of consciousness is unconditional universals. That's something like this. No matter who you are or what you do, you have belief in something great in yourself. Even if it's Satan or the wall, a rock, whatever.
The vortex, the universe.
So
the
that's one unconditional universal, is that there's something higher than us.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last level, the 9th level, is inner being. That's when you reach that state of true awareness and consciousness, and you can live, quote unquote, what they call the Zen life. But what I was able to observe in laying this out is that it's an ongoing cycle, because you may get to a point in your consciousness where you at that self-destruction and have to start all over. So that's the 9 levels of consciousness, and you will be hearing more about that, because that's a concept that Brother Sid has validated for me. Now all of these notes from the past 7 years
Makes sense.
about to manifest, because my partner had me brain. But no, I'm gonna tell y'all what I really appreciate tomorrow. Because when she be getting on me, I hear my wife in the other ear. You know what she told me?
I do not. First of all,
That's real.
Like,
That's real. That's love. That's love.
She told me, I can't support what's in your mind. But that was very needed at the time and profound.
because
Yeah.
we were,
Yeah. And
That's
then
love.
the 3 days that I did my boot camp, we started getting some interesting results.
very quick.
Very quick. Very quick.
And one of the things that we do, and I think it's important too that we talk about this, is how you manifest these things
Right.
that you want.
Right.
Because we don't. When you understand that you don't have to look for things that you want that can come to you,
To you.
you operate differently, because you just expect those things to happen, and you know that when they happen, it's what you wanted, because that's what you manifest.
Right.
And it's nothing that's unexpected, because I brought it to me.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah.
So I can't be shocked when I'm going through an experience or something that's happening, and I know what the end result ends up being, because guess what? I've already done
Right,
it.
I've already done
I've
it.
already
right.
given myself
Right.
whatever outcome it is that I expect to happen from something that I created. Well, guess what? I'm creating success. I'm creating gratefulness. I'm creating harmony. I'm creating peace. I'm creating gratitude.
That's
I'm
so
creating
mantra
love.
every day.
You understand?
Yeah.
Because when I get up with those type of words in my mouth, I don't have to worry about what Facebook has to say about me, Instagram,
Yeah.
what my family,
Sure.
what anybody
Sure.
else say. Because in the mornings, I get up before most people do. And I do not, I wait before I go to my phone, because I don't want anybody disturbing my
Yeah.
peace.
Right.
And when you wake up, when you go to bed with peace and you wake up in peace, can't nobody disturb your peace, because you've already given yourself permission to have peace. And it doesn't matter. You can pick any words you want, but you give yourself permission to have that, and then you do not allow anybody to take that from you. Now that's the tough part, because I can get out of character quick. I can, because I feel like
And we're
at
not
some
talking about
point-
the Emerald Empress character. She have this look she do. It's a
Because, and that's a work in progress, and I can admit to that. But I also know that during my work in progress, y'all, I know some things. Let me tell you something. Hold on. You talk about yours. This right here.
Go ahead.
This right here. First of all, God grant me the serenity. Listen. And then when I get through with it, because see, this is my vision. You got yours, I got mine. And the first thing it said is my multi-billion-dollar ideas. Ideas. That means that anything that puts in this book is worth a whole lot of money. You understand? Because God gives us, or our universe, or whatever we choose, He gives us stuff all the time. But where is your proof?
Exactly.
He said, write the vision. Where's your proof? He's giving you those dreams. You know the visions. Where are you writing them? Where are you running them? Where are you implementing them? Everything that we have had so far has been written in this book. We didn't even know.
Exactly.
We did not know. We did not know. But that's what happens when you have two people that are operating within the same type of space, and those
Same
two
people,
energies,
right.
those likes attracting what?
Right.
Likes. So when you
Yeah.
have two likes attracting likes, then guess what we have?
Multi-gazillionaires.
Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah, we about to.
Yeah, I just wanted to say this real
Go
quick,
ahead.
and I promise I'll be done. You know, I was reading over something, and a gentleman by the name of Victor Hugo said something I really, you guys stimulated me to think about. Nothing can stop, and I repeat, nothing can stop an idea when its time has come. And I think about that because I'm like, we are literally manifesting the ideas that some of us have been thinking about for
years.
right?
In moments. In moments.
So I say that because our thought is energy.
Yes, it is.
And that vibration is powerful.
Yes, it is.
So sometimes you got to just disconnect and break away and tap into that energy and that source. And just as you talked about, you know, you got billion-dollar ideas and million-dollar ideas. It's beautiful that you're looking at your ideas as such. And the thing that I wanted to tell you and say to you is that time is more valuable and expensive than any money or currency.
Sure.
And the time that you spending time with that book, writing it down, creating, manifesting, cultivating, germinating, it's going to create so much because your children's children are going to study that and they're going to say, Grandma, that was a bad Mama Jama. And that's going to inspire them. That's going to motivate them. And you know, I'll say this, I'll close. You know, everybody's going to go get a ticket on the 19th to go see The Lion King, right? And I always sit back and say, wow, that's a story of us.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep. It sure
It might
is.
be some lions up there, but that's what we are. That's right.
They try to hide
That's it. So when we know that, we are part of the circle of life, right? And it doesn't matter what kind of scars that we have to overcome, right? What kind of hyenas we have to deal with.
Right.
What kind of darkness we have to overcome.
Right.
If we come to the point to remember, remember who you are.
That's right.
And that right there is so powerful.
That is dope.
When we see that, when we sense that, when we live that, when we teach our children that, it doesn't matter how far, what they have to go through, what they have to endure, they will remember. Right? And the circle of life will come back around. I know everybody's excited. They're gonna get the video.
Before you get up out of here, is he sticking around after?
Hey man, it's whatever y'all need, man. It's all love. It's
Well, go
all
ahead and
love.
tell the people how to get in touch with you.
Okay, absolutely. You can go on Facebook and look up SEDRICK, KEELER, or you can go to kpft.org. Email me. You know, we're always doing something. I want to say this real quick. August the 3rd, we got Les Brown. Les Brown is coming to H-Town. And we're bringing it. And we're bringing him to let you know you got to be hungry. And there's one thing that I want to say that he said, and it touched me. He said he had to go through being considered mentally retarded. And that's when they said retarded. They said it openly and brazenly. And he had to go through failing twice. And he had to go through being an African American in a poverty-stricken environment. And he couldn't even believe that it was possible for him to do the things that he was doing. And there was a teacher that told him, don't you let anyone's opinion limit the possibilities of your achievement, right? So I say that to say this, is that he realized he was the one. And I want people out there to stop looking at TV wishing and hoping for Superman or somebody to come from the clouds and save you. No, we the ones we've been waiting on, and we are the ones. So I want you to come out August the 3rd, get your ticket, you can holler at me, we'll give you a discount. It ain't about money, it's about love. We just want you to be there, and it's going to be an amazing thing.
Okay, so tell us where's
absolutely. It's gonna be at St. John's with Pastor Rudy, the brother with the longest beard hanging, dangling, and he's doing his thing.
You ain't seen Jack Chris
yet. I ain't seen him yet. Brother, take it out. Okay. He give Pastor Rudy a run for his money.
Pastor Rudy, his not like this big. He's your height. His beard come down.
Oh, man. Hey, that's it right there. That's all.
That's good.
So it's funny that you said that, because I had a chance to go see Les.
Oh, you saw Les? That's right.
Yes, y'all. Let me tell you, I'm going to this event on August the 3rd, and also Oscar Hines is going to be there. And when me and my best friend, because you know we was there, I was like, we going like this event, because when you start looking at other people who are contributing, and what I mean by contributing is when you look at the mental state of people, I'm not going to specify it, but just people, period, you have to give people something that they can use. A lot of people, you have to give people something they can use and apply.
Exactly. Application is higher than theory.
Thank you. That's what I was going to use and apply. And I think that when you look at this particular event, you're gonna be able to use it and apply it.
Wow, that's
Cause
amazing.
you got two people that's using. You got one that's gonna tell you, and you got the other one that's gonna tell you how to apply. it.
Wow,
Right,
that's
I
powerful.
So I would like my
Powerful.
tickets to this event, brother.
Okay,
Sid. Thank
okay,
you.
yeah,
Yeah, really like a something
I love it. I
So,
love it. I love
yeah.
it.
So,
I
man,
love
you
it.
know how it goes, Sid. You
Yeah.
got to show time
Yeah.
is passing. We got
That's
other
it.
guests.
That's it. That's
But
it.
you are free to stay around. And we're going to take a short commercial break. And we'll come back and reason with our good sister,
Man, that's
Jasmine.
Yeah.
But we got to make sure we send a shout out to our sponsors, Green Light Consultant LLC, IV20, KOB, Zion Sound, Tidwell Pharmacy. And we can't forget Go Getter, so we give thanks to Texas 101 Jam. And we cannot forget her Sacred Petals, a new supporter in the house.
Thank you. You better give it to him.
I didn't forget it, just, time is passing, try to
Yes.
keep it popping.
Yes.
So we're going to go to a short break and we'll be right back. Stay
Man, I
tuned.
love it, man. I love it,
Yes,
man. I
thank
appreciate
you.
it.
That was dope.
So,
Like
Yeah.
we literally.
I know y'all got a house full of
Yeah.
people. I'm sorry. I ain't mean to take so much time.
Nah, no,
I appreciate it. Thank you. I give love. Thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate that. I give love. Thank you.
Yes, we're gonna get a picture real quick.
yeah. Come on with the camera. We got to do this. Bring
My boyfriend just basically talking about my phone. Watching.
I just wanna get to know you. I saw you dancing in the rain. Yeah, like a rose blowing in the wind. I don't like moving up. Better fingers don't do it. See the sun shining on you, baby. I wanna be the dawn in your room. I remember when you rolled up on me. I had a sack, dropped the top on the Chevrolet. I laid it back, feeling good, can't break the sweat. She looked bad, better time. Up in the corners, I'm busting chairs when I'm by. The dirty side, the 305, get it poppin', and take it shopping. Get down, if it's smart, you play your role. Give you a side, right to friends, you get the brag, the working bad. Skinny can't know your name, skinny baby. I just wanna get to know you. I don't wanna get to know you. I saw you dancing in the rain, yeah, like a rose blowing in the wind. I don't like moving it up. Better fingers still on do it. I see the sun shining on you, baby. I wanna be the dawn in your room. Too much smoke, I feel the room. Special fire, take you in my room. The way you dance got me in the mood. I'ma take one shot, I know more, know your time. Boy, really. Don't get yourself in bad shape, see too much of you. Girl, I know you know I'm feeling you. I keep it cheap, I be on you. Be the realest one you ever know. Excuse me, can I know your name? Excuse me, baby. I just wanna get to know you. I saw you dancing in the rain.
Look, water. Thank you.
Thank you, Brittany. You okay, right?
We gonna have to. Come on, you got to get up, baby. Come on, you got to get up. I can't.
I represent being the people. That's all right between Rest and Augusta. Two roads meet, there's called Wilkinson Street. Manners and respect was like a straight line check. It seems the ones that come in after quick to disrespect. You see, this life in the ghetto never easy. So many hungry days break jelly breathing. I doing the best I can. Try to turn my dollar to 100 grand. I represent the ghetto people like from That's all my hearts, big up in
You can still miss it. We got some 30 days.
Well, it's been a, well, you're here, but we'll talk, so you can make your comments.
Yeah.
Meantime, I say up on money. Caliber say my shop, I don't ever give in. 7 years of farm, I watch the cops and come in. They see a young with the lions. But they ain't for no reason. Only God and I believe it. Watch them only watch them for a season. Cutlass, I go weed them. I represent the ghetto people I from. Nassau, Bahamas, big up it.
Going on after? Going after for 1 month?
Yeah, after this we go.
Don't take no back talk, no bribe or no joke. If you find fire, you're definitely
You come back home and do the commercials.
Really great.
I represent Biggie.
That's what I'm saying. We can do it now. So we can do that now.
Don't take no back talk, no bribe or no joke. If you find fire, you're definitely fine.
Yay, we're back. Freeze reunion.
She is in the house.
I think we all know that now.
Look,
for
I'm
sure.
trying not to get too excited, but we're getting ready to make our big announcement. So of course, when we make our announcement, we want our listening audience to be cheering. I don't think they can hear us. They can't hear us. So anyway, when we make our announcement, we want our listening audience to cheer. Yes. Okay, so first announcement on August the 3rd, the Emerald Empress, will be at Muscles and Mimosas at Spectra Strength Fitness. It is located at 10511 Windsor Lane. And guess what? Mr. Donald is coming on the show July 26th, and we're going to have our fitness session. We're going to talk about fitness and cannabis. Fitness and cannabis. Fitness and cannabis. We're going to talk about it, y'all. So he will be here on July 26th, but his event is called Muscles and Mimosas, and it is on August the 3rd. On August the 18th, the Emerald Empress herself will be hosting a Sunday CBD social. Yes, y'all, we are going to have some light bite CBD samples and some infused beverages and fun.
Yes.
We don't talk about cannabis, y'all. It's going to be so much fun. And so that's going to be located at the Circle of Peace Natural Hair Space at 3016 Isabella Unit A. And that is going to be at 4:20. Y'all get it? 4:20
I get it.
And then last, on August the 24th, we will be at the 15th Annual Community Fun Day located at Taylor's of Houston. J. Paul Jr. It will be in the house if you all like Zydeco. Y'all better come on out and listen to J. Paul Jr. and Zydeco.
Come on, somebody. Let's go. Come on, Easy, don't know.
That's what's up.
And that's going to be located at 13100 South Post Oak. That's on August the 24th. Y'all, our August is filling up. And we ain't even got to our big announcement.
I think it's time for the big announcement.
I think so.
Oh, hey. Do we want the people in the listen audience to be
I think we need to get them, because I don't think
Drum roll, please.
Yes, like we really want y'all to do this drum roll.
Let's go.
I'm ready.
Let's go. Drum roll, please.
All right,
Please.
so where's drum? Y'all,
cheer for people. So
listen.
He's getting the calendar in now.
We about to make our big
so we're about to
announcement.
make this big announcement. We got the house full for this real big announcement. So what we've been pubbing and trying to get people excited about is we have a major announcement. The Perfect Flower Networking, the Perfect Flower Cannabis Workshop and Networking Mixer was very successful. So since it was successful, we want to announce that we will be having the second Perfect Flower event in San Antonio in October. And we are hosting a trip to where we're having a retreat, a cannabis retreat to where?
Okay, so let me start over. 'Cause you did not
Oh, he
introduce
didn't do
that
it
right.
right.
Let me start that over.
Gee.
So, first of all, we are going to be doing a San Antonio. We're going tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we're getting all the good juicy details together because we have another additional announcement to make about San Antonio. Because it's not just that we're going to be in San Antonio, it's why we're going to San Antonio. So that is going to be forthcoming. Y'all will see some little snippets and tidbits tomorrow. But yes, we are going to Jamaica! We're going to Jamaica!
April 2020.
So, listen, y'all, the Perfect Flower Tour starts in Jamaica. April 2nd through the 5th of 2020. Now, why is April important? Because April is the 4th month of the year 2020. So this is a 420 event.
That's right. That
What does
sounds
that
great.
mean? You guys will get to view the beautiful Jamaica Island. You
Yeah,
all will
okay.
get premium samples of quality products grown on the resort where we will be staying that has a greenhouse on property for you to get Ocean Grow, which is considered OG.
For those that don't know what OG stands
That's
for.
what the OG is.
Ocean Grown is grown by the ocean.
Ocean. We're
Grown
going
by
to
the
give you
ocean.
OG education
We giving
in
you a
Jamaica.
class on cultivating OG high grade ganja sinsemilla, baby.
Y'all listen.
That's what's up.
So, let me get back to normal.
Yeah, so because we
So join us April 2nd through the 5th, 2020, in the
Yeah.
beautiful Coral Cove, Jamaica. Come on, you guys, you do not want to miss this event.
yeah, it's gonna be lit.
It's
So-
gonna be dope. We are going to Jamaica, and it is a 420 tour.
Yeah.
Because this is the first of many. We have some more lined up.
Yeah. So that's the big announcement. So we want to keep it moving. So what you have to do is stay tuned to the Green Gold Lounge. Check us on Instagram, Facebook at Green Life Consultant LLC, and visit the website www.greenlife-consultant.com. You will get more details as the days progress. So what's going on, Free to Weed?
That's what's up. This is your girl LaTanya Whittington with Cannabis
Yes.
Reform of Houston.
up?
We're in the house
Advocacy
tonight. Now, how have you guys been? You guys been okay?
Been good. We missed you last weekend or last Friday, but you was doing some power moves.
Yes.
Tell us what you was doing last
Well,
week.
now you know that I'm a precinct chair for the Harris County Democratic